please do the roll call.
Alderman Monteleone.
Here.
Alderman Hamilton.
Here.
Alderman Slattery.
Here.
Alderman Venn.
Here.
Alderman Broughton.
Here.
Alderman Woodsig.
She's excused, yes.
You have a quorum.
All right, I'm gonna open the regular meeting at 7:01. Reading and approval of the minutes for the Board of Alderman meeting, July 8th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Anyone?
So moved.
Carol, second?
Second.
Michael? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, the minutes are approved. Reading and approval of the minutes of the executive session meeting of July the 8th, 2025. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Anyone?
So moved.
Marty, second?
Second.
Michael? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes and the minutes are approved. Citizen comments and petitions, are there any citizens who would like to speak? Richard, Sierra?
Members of the board, good evening. I'm sorry I missed a very fun meeting last month. I was out of town on business. I was very encouraged by our discussion at the May meeting regarding basketball goals. There seemed to be a path forward that would be agreeable to all. I removed my basketball goal in March as a gesture of good faith and promised to keep it that way until we could resolve this matter. I've allowed for continuance after continuance rather than having my day in court. My attorney and I have even provided a draft ordinance that we feel would address your concerns as a council, including liability for the city. What I'm asking for you is to make a decision on the basketball goals. The status quo will not do. There is no current code that prohibits basketball goals in the right of way. We will return to court to argue the code you are citing does not apply. And that is going to trigger the extended process of time-consuming, money-wasting appeals that I explained to you a few months ago. None of us wants that. Taxpayers surely do not want that. Please either pass an ordinance that expressly prohibits basketball goals or allow them under certain clearly defined conditions. You can always do what some area municipalities have done and pass an ordinance that forbids them. I don't think you should, obviously. Those other municipalities are much larger with more vehicle traffic and greater safety concerns. There's no record of safety incidents here in Green Park related to these goals. They were permitted in our community for decades without any issue. As Mr. Roast can confirm, there is no record of a single legal case in U.S. history holding a city liable for a residential basketball goal. There's no good reason for prohibiting them, but if we're going to prohibit them, please put together an ordinance that invites the committee to hash this out together. You can also pass an ordinance like the one my attorney and I have provided for you. It places responsibility on the homeowner and protects the city. The city can demand proof of insurance and request a relocation as it deems necessary for snow removal or construction or other safety concerns. Many St. Louis area municipalities that have passed codes, such as Sunset Hills or St. Charles, very explicitly bake those kinds of exceptions into their ordinances. We live in a small, safe, manageable community. We can afford to be flexible and adaptable to these situations as they arise. Please, 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 do not put this off any longer. Green Park has recently lost its mayor and city clerk over infighting. It's facing uproar over the taxation of local businesses. This basketball goal saga is going on well over 4 years now. There are more important things on your agenda. Let's get this behind us by passing a clear and sensible provision that works for everyone at the meeting next month. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Reports of officers and committees, 3.1, the mayor and board of aldermen. I just have a couple reports here. The Commerce Center, they started the street project over there this morning. Also, we had the code enforcement officer go around, and there's been several posts, signs have been knocked down. There's probably a couple dozen that need some attention as far as fading. Other than that, that's all I had. Marty, do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Carol?
Yeah, the work that was done on our parking lot out here, are they finished?
As far as I know, yes.
I don't think that work is satisfactory. Those gaps should not be there. I mean, you would probably know more about that than me, but it just doesn't look like they should have holes in areas that could have been filled in with something maybe. It just does not look like a good job to me. I'm hoping that if we did pay them already or whatever, that they could come back, we haven't paid them, okay. That we could have them do that properly because it's just not right. And, you know, if you want to comment on that later or whatever, because it just,
I could comment on it now for you if you'd like.
please.
So they did crack sealing rather than crack filling. I think they came in and did that over the weekend, one weekend, and I think it was rushed. So they went in, sealed it for the next day to be striped, and it rained, so they just delayed that striping. I think Teresa's in contact with them, trying to get them to come out and do some more crack filling rather than crack sealing. What they did was they put the seal in, but not, and then sealed it so no water will go into that crack, but they didn't treat the crack. Even if you fill that crack, it may end up being humped over, which is not going to look perfect either. So there's no solution that's going to make it look new. It's old pavement, so it's going to stay. You're going to fill it, and they may have to hump it over to account for it to try to settle.
It just looks like something's still going under there, and that was our original problem.
So they sealed it to the point where if water gets into it, it will not crack it anymore, because they put the seal inside the crack. So water will sit there, but it will not freeze and thaw because it's a big enough crack.
Well, if they could try to do something, maybe, I
So,
don't think that,
I think Joe also asked for it to be filled. So when they do come out and they do something like that, they may have to hump it over like they always do on areas where they're trying to salvage pavement. And it may not look as good or may look worse
really.
in appearance, but it's going to be filled. So they're not gonna go in and fill it and then go in and try to shave it. They're just gonna fill it and let it settle. And if it settles, it looks great. If it doesn't, you've got a hump.
But it could also be another divot that's filled up a little
It
more.
could,
but
and
it's
then
filled up
I
a
don't
little
think the contractor is going to keep coming back and fill more and fill more. He's probably going to ask for a change order for an additional cost to that.
Well, if they could do it at least minimally, it's gotta look better, even if they do it minimally. We just put cones up
And
this time, so no one's upset about parking.
And the contractor subbed it out to another contractor for that.
Oh.
Yes, so it wasn't Larry's, it was somebody that they sub out to.
Did we know that?
Yeah, they do that on a regular basis.
Okay, all right.
And Larry's is one of the top asphalt people.
Okay.
So they've got too much work for their people, so they gotta sub it out eventually. Wagner does that every once in a while when they've got to do crack sealing. Wagner doesn't do it. He subs it out to somebody else
Okay.
on the concrete.
Anything else, Carol?
No, that should do it, thank you.
Michael?
Yes, sir. I'd like the board's approval to put St. John's Church on our website again for their upcoming rummage sale, which will be September 27th and September 28th. If we could take a yes or whatever, we've done this before. Is that satisfactory with everyone?
I don't have a problem with it, we did it in the
Right.
past.
Right.
And,
Would you pass that up to Teresa? Okay. The, one other thing, could somebody please get a hold of our code enforcement officer and show him where Ward 1 is? Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Rod, do you have anything to report? Tam is excused. Paul, city attorney, do you have anything to report?
No report tonight.
Right. Derek, city engineer.
I've got a couple of things. We talked about the parking lot here, so pavement and striping's done. We still need to do some more crack filling. Striping's done on Green Park Road and Mueller Road. We've got the catwalk done, of course. We started the new street project this morning. I met out with Wagner. We started the excavation in Green Park Industrial Court. We're going to stay in the court, so therefore we don't have to do one-way traffic detouring like we did last year until we get in the main drag. The downfall with just staying in the court is that once we excavate an area, we can't do it all because we gotta have access to all the industrial drives, the businesses. We will take it up and dice it up and do it, but every time we pour, then we gotta wait a week for cure time. So then we're down a week, and then we start excavating again, we pour, we're down another week. So I told Wagner if you could jump from the main road back and forth, we could speed it up. Otherwise, we're looking probably at end of November before we're completely in and out of there because of weather, because of anything else. No problem so far. We ran into a fiber optic cable that was in conduit, but it was not damaged, it was not ripped up. It'll be in our subgrade a little bit, but I'm not gonna remove it and try to lower it. It's too costly to try to do something like that. So we're gonna stabilize the area, compact the area, and just go with what's out there right now. Underneath the cable, it's also stable, so we're not going to disturb that. The other thing is Wagner asked for final inspection, final release of last year's street project. So their accounting guy, this Al Liddell, I think he's dropping the ball. It's not the first time that he's asked for something late. I was out there this morning, and then before the meeting, and I believe it's 100% complete. The remainder of the money that's still outstanding from last year is $42,240.39, which is the 5% retention, standard retention. So what we looked at was cracked pavement, if there's any cracked slabs. We looked at 100% vegetation. We looked at vertical curbing. We looked at any driveway aprons. The site's clean. It's dry vegetation that's only going to be as good as the weather. So I believe you can make that final release, and we can't do it without your approval as a board. And that's for last year's street project, not this year we just started. So again, it was invoice number 23115-03, and they submitted it back in late November, and then we said, hey, we got to wait for vegetation to be established, which is in March or April, and they just never asked for final release, which triggers final inspection. So if I could have a board approval or recommendation by either, do we need to do a roll call, or do we just?
Entertain a motion to release
Can
the
I-
$42,240.39 for last year's
Street project to Wagner.
Do we have a motion?
It's done correctly and it is complete.
Correct. Based on final
Carol,
inspection.
second? Michael? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 3.4, city clerk. Teresa, do you have anything to report?
Just that we're at the final stages with the audit with the kids. You guys found that in your packet.
Ann and I will be getting together real quick, just to talk about it, and we'll bring it before the board, real soon. Okay?
Joe, can I have one last comment? If the aldermen have their street maintenance list that we asked for, if you guys are driving the street and you come up with a list, please forward that to City Hall. What we're looking for is an address description, and if you take a picture with your phone, perfect, pass that on, that'll give us an idea of what you're looking at. We're looking at cracked pavement, we're looking at any kind of box outs for the manholes in the middle of the street that's supposed to break out by itself. If you see any deteriorated pavement too, where we need to do some maintenance on it prior to starting on the city streets again, residential streets, we'd like to see it, so we can forward that to Wagner for cost estimate. Or whatever contractor you want to pick. We typically pick the contractor we're working with that year.
Thanks, Derek. 3.5, the treasurer's report. We have Anna here from Sickage, the city's accountant. She will present the financial update for the 6 months ending in June 30th, 2025.
Yes, so it's nice to meet everyone. I know I've called in before, but nice to put some faces to names anyways. Since we did just touch on the audit, I just wanted to circle back to that real quick. So I spoke with Mike, who is the audit principal on that audit, and he did mention that it's not always the case that the board would like the audit presented prior to approval. I think in prior years it's been approved to be finalized, and then he's happy to come present next month. His request is that we don't potentially hold up that audit finalization process just waiting for that approval. So happy to open that up for discussion with the board and your attorney on what you think. But if you're good with the draft that's been prepared, if we can go ahead, and I'm happy to still meet with you this week and talk through it, since this is the first one that we're going through together. But then Teresa can go, and Joe, you can go ahead and approve it, finalize it ideally this week. And then if you like, Mike is happy to come present at the next meeting. I'd leave that up to you guys, and you can discuss it and let Mike know. But just didn't want to hold anything up as far as that getting finalized so that you can get it over to the state. So
Good.
if that works for you, I'll let Mike know, and then we'll set up a quick meeting this week. I'm off tomorrow, but maybe on Wednesday we can touch base. So. Okay. All right, perfect. So with that being said, this is obviously my first meeting presenting any sort of financials to the board. I know it's really small when it's printed, but I want to get an idea on, what type of information the board does want to see. And ideally, my goal is to build that reporting into QuickBooks so that at any point in time, Teresa can run those reports without the accountant. So our goal is to really work with Teresa to get QuickBooks up and running to its fullest potential so that all of the financial information of the city is in one place. All the bank reconciliations would happen in there as well. So that being said, I will walk through what I did prepare for the board today. I'm going to keep it pretty high level, but obviously if there are questions, I will either try to answer them today, or I'm happy to set up a call with you one-on-one and discuss it. So before I dive into it, does anybody have any general questions for me? Okay, perfect. So the first page, you should see what we're going to call your balance sheet. This is as of June 30th, 2025. So when I first came in and started working with Teresa a few months ago, we had some catch up to do for 2024 to get your audit started, and then we turned to 2025. So this is all of your accounts have been reconciled through June 30th. So as of the end of June, your total cash is just over $3 million. That's up about $985,000 from June 30th of last year. And the main reason for that increase, if you go down the page, is that your total investments is down about $1 million. So you had a number of CDs mature. Most of those, I believe, were at Simmons Bank, and those were not rolled over into new CDs. So that's the main reason that you're holding a little bit more cash than you were at this time last year. I do think as part of the audit, there was a recommendation about, being a little bit maybe more proactive in the investment space and following that policy that the board has. So I will pause there if the board has any questions or wants to discuss those types of investments. But just so you do see it here, that's the reason for the difference in your cash balance and your investment balance. It's all those Simmons Bank CDs that I believe matured in like February and August of 2024. You do still have one CD at Regions Bank. That one did roll over recently here in April, and then you still have your Ameriprise investments as well. So happy to just note that overall, your cash and your investments are only down about 3% from where you were at this time last year. It's just a different allocation. Really going down the page, not a whole lot else going on. There's some items that are generally adjusted at year end with your contractor deposit for the sewer lateral. And then there are some old payables that I think have been out there for a little while that we're gonna work on determining if those should be cleaned up this year. But overall, really just focusing on the cash and investment balance from this report. Any questions on your balance sheet before we touch base on your budget and actual spending? Okay. So the next page, so this one, again, a few columns here, but I wanted to present as much information as I thought was valuable, and then we can discuss what the board might want to see going forward. So the first column is your actual activity as of June 30th. The second column is your budget, and then you have a calculation of over under budget and a percentage of your budget so far. And then the last set of columns is going to show you your prior year actual through June 30th, your over under prior year, and then your percent of prior year actual as well. So obviously we're 50% through your fiscal year, so especially on the expense side, pending any timing of projects and things like that, you'd expect to be right around 50% of your expense budget. And then revenues can also depend on timing of things like tax deposits, but overall you're looking at, are we at 50% when we're 50% through the year? So for the revenue side of things, if you scroll down to, if it's in color, I'm not sure if it is, but there's a highlighted line that says total revenues. So total revenues as of June 30th is just over $1 million, and you budgeted just over $2 million, so you're at 49% of your revenues. So I'd say you're pretty on par with what you would expect at this point in the year. You are at about 103% of your prior year actual, so you've actually collected a little bit more in revenues than you had at this time last year. So you can see each type of revenue broken out by specific line item and specific budgeted item. I won't dive into any of those, but if there is anything you'd like to know in more detail, I'm happy to answer those questions or work with Teresa to get you that information. On the expense side of things, so obviously you have quite a few expense line items. Again, I won't dive into each one individually, but I'll touch on a few that might stick out to you if you're looking down the page. Your outside labor, you're at almost 400 or 360% of your budget. It was budgeted for 8,000. It's at 28,000. I believe you have some HESI group invoices.
Yes.
Obviously, Teresa can speak more as far as, and you guys probably know what those were for, but that's where you're seeing your spending increase there. The plan is at the end of the year, the audit is required to report anything that was over budget on the fund level. So you have your general fund, your capital projects fund, etc. So at the end of the year, I'll work with the board for any recommendations of budget amendments. So if you've underspent in one area and you can reallocate it to another, we can work on that for a budget amendment. If you keep scrolling down, there is a software line where, again, it was budgeted 600. You spent about a little over 10,000 so far. Those were some iWork invoices that I believe were some computer equipment potentially that were needed. You continue going down. If you're in your public works section, you will see some budget overages in your mowing, in your snow removal, and in your signage. Those are quite a few. As far as the mowing goes, there was about $26,000 in invoices from 2024 that were paid in 2025. So just because of the timing of when those invoices come in and the cash goes out, as you just mentioned, last year's road project, there's a later invoice coming in. So just things like that that can cause those fluctuations. And then I think snowfall and plowing, there was quite a bit of snow at the beginning of the year. So obviously that can impact the spending there. The salt storage is another area where there was no budget for that line item, but Teresa did record those expenses separately to see the transportation and storage versus just the salt that was purchased for maintenance. So that's something to consider with next year's budget, I believe, to see if that's something that you want to work in. But overall, if you go down to the bottom, your total expenditures in your general fund are at 56% of your budget. I don't think that's anything to be alarmed about as far as being 50% through your year. And you are about at 109% of last year. So a little bit over, but as I mentioned, some of those items and timing of payments can impact that. The next two items, you see your sewer lateral fund. You're sitting right where you want to be. You have about, I think 30% of your fees have come in and 49% of your repairs. So nothing out of the ordinary there. And then your capital improvement funds, your revenues are right at 50% of your budget. Your expenditures are less, they're only at 26%, but it sounds like you have some projects kicking off here that will cause that to change for the next report. So, but overall, expenses at 26% of your budget. So the very bottom of this page, you can see each and every fund broken out in total, and then you can see your total for all of your funds. So all of your funds, your revenues at 49% of budget, and your expenditures are at 46%. So, yep,
So on the sewer lateral fund,
yes.
the 12,000 that's in there, is that generally coming from the 2024 collection? Because, I mean, doesn't the county mainly collect those? I guess they could have been some late ones that came in.
Yeah, I would have to go back and look at the detail. It's those, the payments come in through the bank account. We get like I think there's an invoice or
They're
a
collected
statement to
with
support.
the property tax? So
Yes.
That's why I'm thinking they really only get collected one time a year at the end of the year.
Right. I think there are often late ones that do trickle in, and that's where those are getting recorded. And then I know as far as the payments go, I do plan to touch base with Teresa because I talked to Mike on the audit side, and there was that invoice at year end.
Yes.
Yes, so
Yes.
we'll touch base on that. It did cause the deposit to actually be a
Right.
liability, so we do need to touch base on that. But, yeah, I believe that nothing is off track there as far as that goes. So that's really the financial update. I guess for the board, other than maybe making it look bigger, which we will probably have to put the prior year information on the next page, but aside from that, is there anything else from a financial perspective that you would rather see? I think the last accountant had some monthly columns. We don't find a lot of value in the month by month, but if you do, we can add that to the packet. So I will pause there to see if there's any feedback or if you like what you're seeing, but just the scale is maybe a little off.
What would you rather do than month to month? Do a quarterly or something, or?
So I would say I can get these reports for you guys every month, but the individual column showing each month's activity is what I didn't show. I'm just showing it as of June 30th. So the next one would be as of July 31st, as of August 31st, etc., instead of seeing every single month in one report. Does that make sense?
Okay. Kind of.
So if you go back, I can show it on my computer. The prior accountant's schedule had January's activity, February's activity, and then it totaled it all in one column. So this is showing you that total. It's not showing you every single month's total in one.
Okay.
But my plan would be that you'll have every month. So if you want to say, oh, what happened in June, you would go back and see June's. Okay, here's July's here, and you could get to what's happening month to month if you subtracted and added and things like that. But I'm happy to include that. It's just generally boards are more interested in where you're at overall versus what month did the spending occur in, if that makes sense. But yeah, my goal is to build this out so where even if I'm not here, that you have the reporting. I'm happy to come and we can definitely discuss that, but that you guys have the access to this. You could ideally call Teresa and say, hey, can we run this report at any time and have it because it's all gonna be built in QuickBooks.
Okay.
Yep. I do have a few other things to touch on. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but just wanted to touch base on some of the other items that we discussed as of the June meeting. Since the June meeting when I did call in, Teresa and I have been working on the bank reconciliation, so you are reconciled through June. Again, the goal is to do that in QuickBooks going forward. It's previously been done outside of QuickBooks, so that's kind of the next step there is working through that. And then obviously the audit process, Teresa and I have been working together on that, and I think you've done a great job of getting them everything that they've needed. So I know it was delayed this year. The goal is that our team's gonna be doing all of your activity and reporting it on a monthly basis. So the statements for July are out, and so our goal is by the end of August that July is recorded and reconciled, and we're moving on to the next one. So really the goal is that we'll get you back on track for that audit starting in 2026 when that starts.
That's near and dear to my heart.
Yes, yeah, I know it is in this
June
year.
30th.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's the goal. I think that we can definitely do it. We just had a little bit of a later start this year, so. And then I am not sure, I know we've discussed some other items of as far as the evaluating options for electronic payments. That is on my list to ideally have some options to you this month so that you can start looking into those and seeing what would work. we've discussed electronic vendor payments, so we will touch base on that as well. Obviously, we've touched base on the audit and what the plan is there. It's mid-August 2025, the budget is gonna have to start up here soon. So just wanted to touch base on, and we can talk through this separately, but on what the board's looking for from Sikich in our assistance. We can definitely build out budget worksheets. Those would generally go to the city, your department heads, people who know what the spending needs to be, but we will show you prior year activity so you can kind of gauge, we don't want to just say, well, take the prior year and add 3%. We really want someone who's looking at it who knows what the projects are and things like that. So just wanted to check and see if that's something the board is interested in, or if you already have a process ready to go for that.
No, we're gonna be working with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Those budget worksheets would be great.
Okay, awesome. So I can work on that. And then I think last year you approved it in November. Is that generally your goal, is to approve that budget at the November meeting? Okay.
Yes.
That way, if there was any last minute change, we still have one more month.
Okay.
to get it done.
Okay, perfect. Then I will plan on that for the budget. And I think that that's everything for me, unless anybody has any questions.
Anybody? Sure.
Okay. Looking over at this on the sales tax,
Mm-hmm.
it's a pretty large chunk of our budget.
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically, what could happen, you don't live in Missouri, so you're not familiar with all the bills,
Mhm.
but we have one particular bill that keeps going up,
Mm-hmm.
and they keep asking to eliminate sales tax on groceries.
Mm-hmm.
How devastating do you think that could be to the city's budget?
Yeah, there's absolutely, as far as numbers go, I won't throw any out
Right,
without
of
doing,
course.
we can do analysis. We've done it
Yeah.
for other, because I do live in Illinois, but I'm from the Alton area, so I'm familiar with both sides of the river. But I will say that in Illinois, that is something that has happened to a lot of communities, because the governor did say, hey, it's community by community now, and you can make your own decisions. And communities did decide not to pass it, and obviously that is tax revenue that is no longer coming in. It's tax revenue that maybe you've made decisions on spending in the future based on. So anytime you're talking about legislation that could potentially decrease your revenues as a government, you have to look at, okay, is there somewhere else we can make this up? Or is there spending that we will have to cut, So I would just say, and again, Mike, who is the audit principal on this job, it keeps me very much aware of everything in the Missouri side of things. But any government, any state, anywhere, anytime there's a revenue line that's taken back, there's only so much revenue that you can go out and get. And so when you lose any source of revenue, it comes to a decision on, can we get it elsewhere, or do we have to look at our spending and determine are there projects we might have to cut and things like that. So, I'm happy to do, if the board would like actual formal projections, I'm sure we can get data as far as what you are bringing in just from that 1%. But in general, that would be my response as far as that goes.
I do appreciate your response.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. 3.6, county police report. Jeremy, could you please present the police report?
Good evening.
Jeremy.
For the numbers for July, it's 380 calls for service, of which 151 were self-directed. I'm sorry, directed, which generated 26 police reports. It might say 24 in the report. I added 2 because we had an odd day. We forgot to add this. We had an odd day of indecent exposures. And I say odd because not only is that odd in itself, but we had 3 calls, separate calls, 3 separate people in a matter of 4 hours on one of the really hot days. And, yeah. So 2 of the 3 were arrested. The other one actually, it wasn't a good call. It was unsubstantiated. So 2 of the 3 arrests were the exposure, indecent exposures. The other one was a drug arrest. 5 larcenies, stealings spread out throughout the city. Green Park Road had a couple. And then, another highlight would have been, we rescued a dog from a garage on Bob
Oh,
and that dog has since been adopted, so that's a good story.
wow.
7-year-old Saint Bernard, beautiful dog, covered in fleas. So the animal control guy that responded actually adopted him.
Oh.
So he ended up keeping him, so. But yeah, the neighbor that called in was phenomenal. Praised for doing that, so. Dog was barking in the garage, 95 degrees inside the garage. So, got that dog out of there and he's back to being healthy and good, so. That's all I got.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
What's the 5 varsities for?
Sorry?
What's the 5 varsities for?
Mobile on the Run had a liquor theft. Green Park Road, I believe. One was a catalytic converter, another one was an unlocked car. Walgreens had a theft, and a Marley had license plates stolen off the car.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Unfinished business, Ann Howard, Chairman of the 30th Anniversary Committee. She's gonna present her report.
Alright, first of all, I need to send this around to all the people. We need volunteers to help work that day. So please sign up. We just need you to sit at a table, give out a hot dog, or not a hot dog, but a cookie, take registration. So I'm gonna send that around. Please sign up to work. And you can just put a couple hours if you want. You don't have to have all day. So that's the main thing. We need the help here. Okay, this is our bag. If you're a resident, you'll get a free tote bag. The first 500 only, sorry. We only have 500 bags, so the first 500 will get the tote bag. All right, so. Let me give her, sorry. Okay, so far, Gabby Leggett has just volunteered to be our games, in charge of our games for the children. Her son's preschool has some games we're gonna use, a little kitty cornhole, ring toss, ladder, spin the wheel, that kind of thing. And tomorrow she and I are gonna go up to Carnival Supply and buy the gifts, or the prizes, I should say, for those kind of things. Carol is gonna supply the older kids and adult cornhole games, or she's gonna set up a tournament, and whatever you, round robin or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tournament.
It's a tournament, so
competition.
Carol's gonna take care of that. We have received permission from St. Simon and the owner of the South Oaks Plaza to use their parking lots. And I have it in writing, right now. Be able to park over there and over at St. Simon. The fire department's supposed to bring out all their fire engines. They're gonna have it all on display, so you can take the kids over there to see the fire engines. That's all been approved. We have applied for a temporary structure permit for the bandstand, which we didn't even know we had to have, but the county said yes. So Teresa's been working on that, and we finally got approval from fire department today, so we're hoping to get that no problem. We paid our final bill for the band too, so that's all put together. Nadine Hudson's putting together a book about the history of Green Park, and she's hoping it's about 20 pages, so she's been writing a lot, and I can tell you from getting all kinds of information. She has a map where everybody who comes in can put their pin on what their street is and where they live, so it'll be kind of fun. Let's see, we're gonna still have the Lolly the Clown. She's gonna do the balloon shaping from 2 to 4. And we've called Lutheran Sound about having volunteers. The pastor, Chris over there, is gonna send out notices to all the student organizations after school starts this week. And we're gonna try and get kids from school to help. They all need service hours, so he said that there should be plenty. We're hoping anyway. So again, we need volunteers, people, so. I've checked with Kendrick Meat. We're still planning for that. We had planned to have it from 1:30 to 3:30. We have 500 hot dogs on order, so you get 1 hot dog per person. But if we want to spread it out another hour, he said to 1:30 to 4:30, it'd be another $1 per person, which is another $500. So I don't know, it goes from $3,300 for that to $3,800. So if we wanna spend the extra $500, we'll let you guys decide. I don't know, to me, we're already way under budget already, so I think another
Play it by
hour
ear.
would be reasonable myself.
Yeah.
Okay, Signorama has donated 10 signs for putting on street corners to announce, which we were gonna plan on doing this Sunday. And then Nova Color is making 3 large corner signs that we put on the corner of Tesson Ferry and Lindbergh, Green Park, and Tesson Ferry and Miller Road in Lindbergh. And they're also gonna make a sign with all the names of all the donors. And we've had 68 donors give us either money or gifts, so we've done real well with that, so. And we wanna make sure that everybody knows about that, we'll also put it on the website, so everybody will know who donated things. Let's see, we got a gift card from the Printing Unlimited, so we're having a banner made. It's gonna go out in the grass area out here, and it's supposed to be 10 feet long, so it'll be pretty big, so everybody can see what it'll look like. And we're gonna buy 30 balloons with 30 on them, so we can have that. You can use it more than once. Okay, do we have, that question is, do we have to have permission to put signs on street corners? Or is that called right of way, or I know we can put the.
The city can put signs in our right.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if we had that. I know they put the,
Yeah, I put my,
kids put, yeah, Ron puts his signs, I
They
meant
put
to ask you
night.
last week.
yeah, I put those signs up all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just have to avoid MoDOT's right away without their permission.
And then these site distance issues.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying, I could see where St. Simon had theirs, I thought, well, put them where they had theirs, call it a day maybe.
So when we're talking MoDOT, are we talking like a telephone pole and out kind of thing? Because I know
Yeah, pretty much.
in real-
That sidewalk and
yeah, in real estate, kind of that's what we do so they don't take our signs.
That's a good,
So telephone pole-ish, not out.
and that's just on
Yeah,
yeah.
so, yeah, there'd just be two from there, so that's not too bad. Okay, I also talked to Eagle Waste about getting an additional dumpster, and they don't think we need it. He said, you know, we're not gonna be having a lot of trash, because it's just, we'll hot dog boats and some water bottles. And they will be emptying the dumpster on Thursday, so it should be pretty empty already. And there's also some trash cans in the back we can use, he said. I don't know anything about the trash cans in the back, but he said we could use those. And he said if we're gonna bring extra regular trash cans and put trash bags in them, and if they get full of the dumpster, we can just pile them on top, he said. They'll take it, so that's not gonna cost us anything, so it's a good thing there. Okay, let's see. We decided not to have snow cones because that's too messy. And possibility of bees, so we're still trying to figure out if we're gonna have popcorn or not. We gotta talk to Tommy.
I'm
but-
working on that with Tom.
Yeah, he's been sick, so we haven't figured that out yet. We have received approval for proclamations from the St. Louis County and the state of Missouri. I'm not sure how we get them yet, but they all both agreed and they gave us approval for to have these proclamations. So hopefully they'll have them to us by the day of the party. Okay, let's see here. Oh, the logo on the back wall, it's gonna be a photo booth. So we want, you know, we're gonna get like funny hats or, you know, a little mask or whatever. And you can come in, get your family, stand underneath the logo. My daughter's gonna be the photographer. Give her your phone, we'll take pictures, and so that's gonna be the logo here. This area is gonna be the history area with 80s things. And we'll have all the attendance prizes over along this wall. We're gonna have 30 plus tennis prizes, and everybody will get a ticket when they get here, and you get, well, actually, you'll get
Oh,
two
don't
tickets.
get
One for the hot dog.
The old people want to see.
I'm sorry, we couldn't estimate people, and we just didn't know how to do this hot dog thing, so. You get one hot dog, you get to pay with your ticket,
It's gonna be a lot of
and then you'll
foot
get a
traffic.
ticket for the
You gotta
tennis
make sure
prizes.
that door's locked.
And you'll get to put it in either a bag or a jar or box, whatever we have, of the item you actually want. Because we don't want to have things that will, putting in tickets just to win anything. We want you to want the thing, because I think we have an electronic thermostat from Ryan's Heating and Cooling, and I know a lot of kids won't want that, so we don't want them putting their tickets in those bags, so we'll give you a ticket to put in the bag, or the prize that you actually want.
No, she got it.
And there's a lot of like variety of
Yeah,
raffle
we
prizes.
mix
So
things,
It's
you
not
know.
like they're all the same. There's wine baskets, there's children's baskets, there's car detailing baskets, so there's a variety of different.
Right, it's golf basket, there's a men's basket, there's women's basket.
There's
so-
2 Connect 4 games we're gonna be playing up there too.
Oh, that's right.
Because Joe's putting it together and I'm gonna get Marty to help.
Okay, yeah, Carol is, she has all these extra games here, so. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna have that as the photo booth, so, feel free to come up and take your picture in front. Okay, and then we're into the basket thing, and like I said, we have a lot of donations. McDonald's gave us 65 coupons for a free breakfast sandwich. We haven't figured out how to give those out yet. Because I don't know the kids want that egg McMuffin so much, so. If it was fries, we'd have them gone in a minute, but, Mobile on the Run donated 12 $25 gift cards. Barron Gymnastics donated a month of free usage and a large stuffed animal. We also got embroidered baseball caps with the city logo on them from Alluvian Embellishment, which I kind of thought they'd gone out of business because I couldn't get a hold of them. But he just emailed me one day and then they delivered them, so it's real nice. So we haven't figured out how to give that stuff away yet either. We're gonna work on that. And so again, we have 68 different businesses and individuals, and they will be acknowledged on. We're gonna have a sign here, and everybody, we want people to, go to those places that really have helped us out. The opening ceremony is going to be Jack Buck's the third is going to be our MC, and this involves the board now. All right, you guys. Mr. Mayor, Acting Mayor, you're going to have to give a speech, welcoming speech. Everybody has to be there all day. This is your party. You have to be here. I'm sorry. You have to be here. You have to meet and greet the people who come. You can volunteer to sit and register people, stand outside and put ice in the coolers, whatever. But I need the board to help here. I'm sorry, you do have to help. And we're gonna need everybody to be introduced. If you wanna give us a few words, that's fine, but the board has to be in it. Because we're tired of doing it ourselves. And I know they're gonna, honor, maybe Fred is gonna be honored at the.
Yeah, were we getting, is he in one of your proclamations or anything?
No, Fred is not in
Because we've
anything.
got
This
to
is a
do
board
that.
thing.
Okay.
We've got to do that because it's clear after they put the history together, and I knew it, but most people didn't realize what he was the player. He's the one that drew the map. He's the one that paid for the map to be drawn for this city and initiate everything. So him and Jeanette, his wife.
Well, Ron said something about it last meeting, so this is a board issue, not me.
Okay.
So Fred has to
A proclamation
You're gonna
and then adopted at the next.
give him a plaque or do
meeting a couple
something.
days later.
You have to figure that out.
Sure.
Do we have time? We don't have time.
We can present it and then we'll adopt it that Monday. Because
Okay.
Monday is our board Alderman meeting.
Okay. Do we need to vote on anything like that?
You will at that meeting.
I mean, you guys can do it right now, but we're gonna do it again on that Monday and adopt the proclamation.
Okay.
So anyway, I think that's about it. Board, you need to step up, sorry. You have to step up. I need help here, so.
Thanks, Ann, appreciate it.
All right, that's all I got for now.
All right, 5.1, under new business, bill number 917, an ordinance of the city of Green Park, Missouri, reestablishing and making public a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial personal interest of certain municipal officials. Paul, can you kind of touch on that?
Yeah, so, every city over $1 million budget has to have by state law, you have to have some kind of ordinance that talks about how you disclose potential conflicts of interest. The city has had one for 30 years or so. But the law also requires that biannually the city readopt it. The Missouri Ethics Commission recommends that it be done annually instead of biannually so that nobody ever forgets. So we did it last year, we're gonna do it again this year. Nothing's changed in the policy, we're just readopting it and making it public again because that's what the law requires. So it's what we're doing pretty much every August we do this. Yeah.
All right, Paul, thank you.
So nothing has changed
Right.
in terms of the wording?
No, it's the exact same policy that we've had for a couple, 3 years. We updated it about 5 years ago.
make the motion.
Carol's gonna make the motion for the first reading for 917, and Ron's gonna make the second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the first reading of bill number 917, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. The motion passes. Paul, please read bill number 917 for the first time.
Bill number 917, an ordinance of the City of Green Park, Missouri, reestablishing and making public a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial personal interests of certain municipal officials.
I will entertain a motion for the second reading of bill number 917. Ron, I need a second.
Second.
Michael? Any discussion? All in favor of second reading of bill number 917, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion passes. Paul, please read bill number 917 for the second time.
Bill number 917, an ordinance of the City of Green Park, Missouri, reestablishing and making public a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial personal interests of certain municipal officials.
I will entertain a motion for the final passage of bill number
So
917.
moved.
Michael?
Second?
Carol, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Teresa, please do the roll call.
Alderman Monteleone,
Aye.
Alderman Finn,
Aye.
Alderman Broughton,
Aye.
Alderman Hamilton,
Aye.
Alderman Slattery.
Aye.
Motion.
Bill number 917 becomes ordinance number 877. 5.2, resolution number 402, adopting a policy on posting, retention of Board of Alderman meetings, video recordings for the city of Green Park, Missouri. Paul, can you explain that for us?
Yeah, this is what you discussed last meeting and directed that it be put into resolution format for adoption, so here it is.
All right. I will entertain a motion to adopt, I'm sorry.
Question, on the first page under section 1, where it says the attached policy on posting and retention of the Board of Alderman meeting video recordings, it says formally approved and adopted as investment policy for the funds of the City of Green Park. Is that something that got copy and pasted?
Probably, where's that, right in the?
Section 1 on the front page.
Oh, yeah, in the resolution, right, so let's see, that's in. Yeah, so section 3 is not necessary, so we can approve it without section.
Thanks, Marty. Anything else?
Yeah, so after reading through this, I don't think unless I missed it, there's nothing in here about live streaming, correct? This is not gonna be live streaming, it's going to be recorded and posted later on the website, correct?
The live streaming, I put it in there last time just for discussion, and the board was not wanting to go there just yet because we don't have the equipment, so.
Right, I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marty. I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution 402. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Michael? Second?
Second.
Marty? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passes. 5.3, resolution number 403, adopting a credit card and public funds use policy for the city of Green Park, Missouri. Paul, one more time.
Same thing on section 1.
Yeah, this one, there was a prior credit card policy, it's an old one, it was about 3 sentences, it just kind of said something like that, so it, for this one, it does, we just need, I see what you're saying, just that word investment needs to stay.
credit card. Got it.
But yeah, otherwise it's a update of the credit card policy that you have, just add some examples and some, it's kind of a more user-friendly for City Hall to have a better idea of what we mean by official city business and things like that. So, as opposed to just uttering those words, it kind of says, here's some examples of what you should or should not be spending on.
All right. I'm going to entertain a motion to adopt resolution 403.
So this is really just a general policy that you found somewhere, or because you're referring here to city manager, deputy city manager?
Right. Sorry, this was one that just kind of was a generic policy that I fixed some of the things that are very city specific, but yeah, if it says city manager, that's probably one of those leftovers from another city that had that. Like when it talks about council approval and things like that.
I mean, it is much better than what we have, because we don't have anything there. But,
Right.
I got a question on page 3, authorized users. It says credit card shall only be issued to the city for use by the mayor, city clerk, and deputy city clerk. Now, there's kind of two separate things in that sentence. Issued to the city as to who are they being issued to, and then who are they being used by. So, is one person keeping track of all this, or is each of those 3 designated people with these titles have a credit card?
The way the policy is supposed to be is that the city has the credit card, and those are the authorized users.
Okay, but they don't actually have them in their possession 24/7.
I have the credit cards, they are in my office, they are in the locked cabinet against the wall. I have all 3 credit cards. Tim and Diane's have already been canceled since they've resigned. The credit card that we have is from Simmons Bank. It does read the city of Green Park. My name is under it. I am the only one authorized to use that card and that number. If the city allowed for someone else to use a credit card, they would also have to apply, and then they would be assigned a city card, and then like one number would be off to show it belonged to another person.
Okay, so as an example, if somebody, like an official, is going to a conference and it's at a hotel and they have to pay for parking, you would issue them a credit card in advance for them to go and pay for that parking.
I would have to.
Or they would use their own credit card and get reimbursed, correct?
You can still do that, right?
Yes, okay. But in no circumstances would a credit card ever be issued for gas and travel. We have a gas mileage, so you would have to use your own personal credit card and then get reimbursed, correct?
There's another policy that you have that talks about travel and expenses, and that's what that's the policy says.
So then, you say you have Diane's credit card?
Yes, sir. The night that the board directed that I would take her credit card, I did, and I put it under lock and key in my office. The moment she turned in her resignation letter, I was on the phone and canceling her credit card just in case she still had the number.
So should we cut that out?
We could,
Why
yes.
don't we cut that out?
I cannot do that with Tim's, though. Tim's is the main one, because he's the one that first opened the account. Now,
Why
Tim,
can't we cut both of those out?
because the credit card still actually comes in Tim's name. The credit card statement, you'll notice that it still comes in Tim's name.
I did notice that.
That needs to be
Why?
changed.
I tried. They've said that they canceled his use of the credit card, but because he's the one that opened the account, that's as far as they can go. He's the main person on the account.
Well, that's weird because of cities have, changeover all the time.
I know. Simmons has been a very challenging
Yeah,
bank to
we
work
should
with.
probably look into
That doesn't make sense.
another company that will actually just issue it to the city
Right.
and have users that are authorized, but not a name on the card.
They're giving me a hard time right now because we took Tim and Diane off the 3 accounts at Simmons, and now they're saying that we need a letter from the board on city letterhead that is a directive of how Joe and I can be on the account and how we can use the funds.
Can we make a
Let's
motion?
give them a letter.
Can we make a motion
I did send it to you. You want the
to
motion?
actually put it in writing and have it signed? And then.
Yeah, I'm just hesitant to write it because they're so particular. It's like, why don't they just tell us what it needs to say?
And I tried that, and she's like, we can't exactly, put it into whatever words you want. It's just that I'm the bank manager now, and this is company policy, and you have to do this.
How about the words that tell them that we don't want Dustin and Diane on the credit cards?
Is that a
I mean,
separate
that seems
account?
pretty simple.
Yeah, we have 3 separate bank accounts there, and
Then let's
our
move it
credit
somewhere
cards
else,
are
there's somebody that'll do it
separate.
correctly.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, cut Diane's out,
Okay, that will be done, sure.
and then we'll have to get more formal about yours.
Okay. Would you like me to do that tonight, or would you like me to do that in the morning?
Whatever you want to.
Okay, Joe, you want to do that after we
Sure.
actually cut it up?
Sure.
Have a card cutting.
All right, anything else?
Yes.
One more, okay.
No, 2. Also, on page 4, it says, under internal controls and documentation, reconciliation, I know this is just word salad stuff, finance division and city manager.
Right.
Right.
That's what
I'm not
Ron was
aware of
talking
our
about.
finance division, but unless we have it. And then at the top of the page, okay, so it says temporary limit increases for specific needs, i.e. emergencies, require pre-approval by the mayor and the president of the board. What if one agrees to a temporary limit increase and the other disagrees?
That's not gonna happen.
Okay, so should we put something in there that says it's not going to happen in so many words, or it needs to go to the board for approval to reconcile or something like that?
Marty, it says to the mayor and president of the board.
Right, but, okay, but if we're gonna do that, but I'm just saying, if there is one case where one agrees and one doesn't, and it needs to be both, then let's put it in writing that both need to.
Okay. Yeah, definitely believe we can do that. So I'll put that in.
Just want to make sure there's
We'll
no.
fix the other references, and, you know what we'll do, we can probably, let's just bring it back next time in a clean, clear version of that. So I'll make sure that that gets straightened out, the resolution references the right thing in section 1, and make sure it's clear after Teresa and I talked how the authorized users are gonna work. Because try to keep it vague enough that it'll work with different credit card companies. Okay, that sounds good. We'll just bring it out next time.
Anything else? Okay, this is for, entertaining a motion to adopt number 403.
Now, let's just postpone that. Somebody could move next month.
All right,
Postpone it to next week.
all right, we can do that. How about if we move it to the next meeting? Do we have a motion for that?
Sure, I'll make that
Carol,
motion.
second? Anybody?
Second.
Marty? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The motion passes. Citizens, comments, and petitions. Any citizens would like to speak?
I had my name down for another thing. We just want to know, can we ask a question of the board? Or is it just a comment? Okay, just want to know if we can ask a question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Why are you guys not voting on this basketball thing now? Why are we keep putting it off for every month?
That's coming up in miscellaneous.
Okay, that's all we need to know. It's like, it's been dragging and dragging and dragging.
Thanks,
All
Ann.
right, thank you.
Miscellaneous.
I have a question. Did we postpone resolution 403?
Yes, we did.
Yes,
Okay.
till next
Till next
month.
month.
Yeah. All right, any
That's what I was voting.
miscellaneous items to discuss? Cheryl?
Yeah, that was my miscellaneous. I think it's very unfair for the basketball hoop situation to keep going on. I know where I stand, I'm not sure where you all stand, I think I do know. But is there any way it could be resolved tonight?
Not if it's an ordinance, no. Plus it wasn't on the agenda, so.
Well, I'm putting in my 2 cents that we get it resolved as soon as possible, whatever way we can, because we need to really discuss it. It seems like it just lingers and goes on and is postponed indefinitely, and no one's talking about it, even though I have my opinion of what I think should happen. We need to set a firm date to make a firm decision.
So, yeah, I mean, from like me and Teresa's point of view, we just need to know can't really put some on it's not my decision, it's not her decision, so we don't know what to put on the agenda for the next thing, as far as what it's gonna say. I mean, I guess we could put 2 different things on there, and you could pick one.
Is the legal issues with this resolved, Paul?
I mean, it depends on which way you wanna go, as has been discussed. If you wanna have a St. Louis County version that says no basketball hoops or other sporting equipment in the right of way, you can do that. If you wanna have it, then we can, we kinda discuss.
We don't have any legal issues right now, the city.
We're trying to resolve it prior to going forward with that, if the
Yeah,
way
I
I'm
think-
understanding it.
Yeah, the municipal court case has been postponed for a long time, pending a discussion here, so it's just been sitting there.
I would like an ordinance like the county has, that it cannot be in the right of way. I guess if you could do 2 of those for next month or something, to get it resolved, we could discuss it then, or however the best way to do it, but it has to end.
Certainly the ordinance would have to include the homeowner providing insurance, proof of insurance that would allow the city being indemnified from any harm, from any result of injury to anybody as a result of having that.
Who's gonna be doing that?
Being from any injury as a result of anything.
Yeah, that would not be my vote, so that would be one of the choices, because that would not be my vote to have it at all.
No, the
No,
ordinance would be in that particular, included.
well, you're saying to include it to make it possible to carry insurance, and I think we kind of covered, there's a very litigious world, I guess you could say, that we can't keep track of a homeowner whether or not they have insurance, and them saying that we can't be sued doesn't mean anything. Anybody can sue anybody at any time, and who are they gonna sue? Probably the guy with $3 million in their coffers. So I'm not for it at all, and it's no offense to anyone, I don't mean to be rude. But it's also, as a realtor, I know what it does when I show a neighborhood that's got a bunch of basketball hoops. People don't care for that at all. And a lot of people, to allow a basketball hoop in a specific area because it's a cul-de-sac, it's a good thought, but what about that guy that's working nights? He's got to sleep all day, and he's got a group of kids that are all going to be flocking to basketball hoops in the cul-de-sacs. I mean, it's being considerate for your neighbor for that matter, but That's just my opinion, but they could put what you're talking about on is another option.
I'll
That's
do
not
that.
the option, that's included in the ordinance.
Yeah,
That's not an option.
I'll put those
I don't think we
together.
ever had that in an ordinance,
Yeah,
did
you
we?
have.
Oh, you're talking about in the one that you wrote up?
Right, that's what,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
they're
that's
talking about two different things, obviously.
Okay, right.
Polar opposites, you can't have both. So,
Right.
but it's not on the agenda for discussion tonight, and so, you know, we'll put it together, and there'll be at least the two types of paths forward, and the board can sort it out.
Sounds good to me.
Motion to adjourn.
Michael, do you have a second?
Second.
Ron? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passes, and the meeting is adjourned at 8:11.
Could I find out where these pictures and this came from? This is a picture of a nuisance house. It says here in the thing. Of this tree that died, it died 2 months ago. This is my house.
Okay.
And I was like, "I'll take care of that house. And I got, and this is concerning the alleged nuisance.
Okay, I guys need you guys to volunteer to do something.
I just wanted to look at the pictures that you were Who is he? He goes around taking pictures. He's taking pictures around.
He can only
Probably
take
need to do
pictures
this,
from a
not do this during working hours, this is just a meeting for,
Yeah.
you can come in tomorrow, we'll see.
No, I only got a few days here. It says.
8:30, yeah.
I don't got much time there before I gotta get legal counsel for this.
Yeah, we'll work with you, I
I'll
understand.
work with you.
Yeah, Teresa's here from 8:30 to 5. Be glad to take your comments and concerns. This is a meeting
I would
to,
like to talk to the guy who took the pictures and recorded it.
Okay, come tomorrow, give me your phone number and I'll get it to you.
yeah, we can resolve this, sir. This is just a board meeting, this is something you need to bring in during working
I
hours.
mean, when's it due?
I gotta get a flyer.
Oh, well, you have until September 30th, that's plenty of time for you to talk with business.
Bill,
Yeah.
Bill.
Code enforcement officer, oversees.
Okay. Now, he doesn't keep office hours, so I would have to get your number and then give it to him to call you, okay?
That looks nice. About the tree, I guess.
Yeah, it is about the tree.
I